Welcome, everyone. I am here with the first member of the Padlock Season 2 jury. Jessica was evicted last night on our second live instant eviction night of the season. Jessica, give me your first thoughts. How are you feeling a day later?
I feel better this morning. I was definitely blindsided. I won't even try to fake that. It makes a little more sense after the fact, but yeah, definitely. I was like kind of being a jokester and like hiding under my blanket, acting scared, and I wasn't scared. So it was a little surprising.
That is the first thing I'll say is that, I mean, one thing, you were nominated for 10 minutes up until the eviction. So, I mean, first off, were you surprised that you were going up on the block?
I thought so. I was confused really all day. If I look back at the week in general, it also makes more sense. But Lana was definitely telling us on Monday. So I felt like she was going to tell us like who the renom was. So I had talked to Patrick all day and we both hadn't heard anything. So I guess in retrospect, I should have outright asked her. That probably would have been at least giving me a little more of a heads up. I think if I had outright asked her, she would have told me. But I was kind of just avoiding it. I was hoping she would nom Patrick and not me. So,
but
I mean, we knew it was one of us.
You were thrown up on the block anyway. But then in the 10 minutes that people were going around in mayhem trying to figure out what to do. Mm-hmm. You felt pretty good. I mean, I was looking at your messages. You were just like, everyone's telling me I'm fine.
Well, so I mean, this was my thing. Like, yeah, definitely. I maybe should have pushed harder on those calls. But in my mind, I was thinking, okay, as soon as that dropped, I had messages from Malcolm, Patrick, Johnny, all of them saying, don't waste your time calling me. Call other people. And I'm like, so like, I felt like if I pushed too hard on them, that would be even more suspicious. So yeah, like when I definitely like felt like it was very calm and, afterwards I was like, oh, that makes a lot more sense. But at the time I felt like if I had pushed them too hard, it's like, that would have looked weird too. But yeah, maybe I should have spent a little more time. I don't know.
Sometimes it works, sometimes it works against you when you try to do that. So I mean, it just depends. But you left the call last night without even saying goodbye to anyone.
Okay, so also that I totally I was mad after the fact that I did that because I think like in my head I'm used to this is my first Skype game, so I'm used to like, when you're out and you don't say anything else. So like you leave the chat, you're really not supposed to like blow anything up, Mm-hmm. So my first reaction was to just get out of there because I felt so blindsided and I just clicked out. And then afterwards I was like, I wish I had been like kind of bitchy like Jordan was. I wish I had some fireworks, but at the same time, I think in that moment, I may have blown up games that I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
So I think had I even stayed on the call, I would have probably blown something up in Patrick's game, and that may not have been what I wanted to do anyway. So I kind of was just like, yeah, it happened really fast. I mean,
yeah. It's an instant eviction for a reason. Everything happens at once to you.
When it was like leave, I was like, leave. And I just got out of there.
I mean, there's some drama in just leaving without saying a word too, but I like what you're saying.
I mean, I feel like I was like Cody in Big Brother when he like just jumped over the table and just left. Like,
yeah.
I've always said I would do that. Like, I hate all of the fake hugs and like, we love you. You don't love me, or you want to vote me out.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to hug you. So like, that's probably what I would have done in real life. To be honest, I would have just walked out.
I mean, I'm a fan of it. So do what you got to do. Yeah. But let's talk a little bit more about this vote, because you definitely had some ideas about what you think happened last night in your production chat alone. So let's try to get into this a little bit, because I've asked everyone that's been evicted what they think the vote count was, because obviously we can't tell you yet. But what if you had to give your educated guess? What do you think the vote count was last night?
I think it was, I think either 2 or 3. I think Lana broke the tie in the wrong way, like against me.
Okay.
But I think like just based on, yeah, I kind of think that. I think I had Patrick. I wouldn't have said I had Malcolm, but I sneaked up. He's mad. He could be lying though. I don't know. I think 2.
You didn't think you had Patrick last night. We could
No,
we could say that.
I still, okay. I still don't think, okay, this is the reason why I don't think it, because he was in a chat. He's in a chat with me, Malcolm, and him. And then he's in a chat with me, Johnny, and him. So I don't think that Johnny would leave Patrick in the game backstabbing him, knowing he's such a good competitor. I don't think that. I think that possibly Patrick didn't vote against me, but I think he knew. I don't think Johnny would leave a competitor. And that's why I immediately kind of blamed at least Patrick for not giving me a heads up, because I saved him twice. Like, I definitely had a big influence on his instant eviction. So that was a little bit frustrating.
So what you're saying is, it sounds like you're blaming Johnny for all of this?
Yes.
Okay. Just that's all I needed.
I think that he plays like he would be my winner pick at this point. He's the person that I think he's played this game very well, and he's held it close to the vest. Like, he definitely throws comps when he wants to. Like, I think he threw the one where he was counting and he would have had to choose between Jordan and Patrick. Like, I think he's playing a lot better than he's acting. Like, I started kind of like an inside joke with myself. Every time he would say he doesn't talk to anybody, I would also say like, oh, I haven't talked to anyone in days. Cause I know he's lying. Like, Patrick and I would make fun of that all the time. Like, you can't say you're not talking to anyone, but you've never been nominated and everybody loves you, and stop. No. And don't cry it.
I mean, that's good, because it does go in the same way of just talking to someone and being like, it's just crazy how much I like everyone. Like,
Yeah.
it's just crazy how cool everyone is. It's just like, okay, cut through the bullshit. Just like, tell me how you really feel.
Yeah. And I don't like the fact, one thing that, actually, if it was him and Lana at the end, I would vote for Lana, because I don't respect the way he has handled his like partnership with her, because I've talked about this in my diary rooms. I feel like he acts like he has her and he controls her vote, and I don't like that. And that was how Onward kind of spoke about me, not outright, but definitely once Patrick told him he wasn't going to keep him, the first thing he said to me when I answered a call was, Patrick's not keeping me, so you're not either, right? And I hate that idea that, anyone's controlling our votes. So that's one thing I didn't like about, like, he would always kind of act like he made her decision. So that's why I also kind of blame him for this, though.
Okay, fair enough. You won the first HOH. Do you regret doing that in a way, or do you think those circumstances after your first HOH, the bonds that you made, let me get my English right. Is it that who got you that far, or the people that you worked with that first week, the alliances that you formed? We won't talk about fast food enthusiasts, but everything else that you formed, do you think it got you this far? Do you regret anything about winning that first HOH?
I don't regret it. One, because I wasn't on the night one call, and I guaranteed I was going to be nominated. So when I was at the wedding and I was like, I have to do this comp, like I have to somehow try to win, because I felt like it was the most obvious one. Like, I would have been nominated by anyone, I felt. And I also don't ever regret winning the first one. I think it kind of sets the tone. I actually regret not fighting to take Duncan's HOH. I think that I felt in that moment, I felt like, oh my gosh, I don't want to have 2 out of 4 of the first HOHs, but I don't think it made a difference. Afterwards, I thought about it and I'm like, well, I still was at the end with him and chose not to take it. And he I got more points than him. He could tell everyone that. So I think essentially not taking that HOH made my threat level the same amount. I just didn't get any power out of it. Like everyone knew I could have had a second HOH already. So I think at that point I should have just gone for it. And he said he didn't want it and I should have called his bluff on it. But at the time I was just, because that was when Jordan went home. And I think that was the start of my downfall.
So would you say that's your biggest regret in the game is not exactly competing for Duncan's HOH, or is there something more that you could build upon that you could say, I wish I could have changed that?
I should have kept Amanda. I think she would have been a bigger threat than me. And I could have but I just felt like in the, I always feel
But you get rid of Amanda, you're evicting Patrick in the process.
Yeah, I was considering evicting him when Jordan left. I think my problem with him was out of everyone on the cast, he was the one that I became friends with. And as bad as this sounds, I think friends mess with my head in this game. And if I had cut off the person that was my most friend earlier, I would have been more cutthroat about things. I really went out on a ledge to save him and kind of do things that I don't think I would have done if it was Amanda or Jordan. And I may have not made my threat level bigger, I guess. I don't know.
Well, that's another question that I want to ask you. What do you think made you specifically a threat to not only Lana, but maybe the other people that voted you out in this game?
The only thing I can think of is the personable aspect is that nobody, I don't think anyone, I mean, I could be wrong. Who knows what they're going to say, but I don't think anybody outright disliked me. And once you get to jury, that's a big threat level. I think that being, nice and friendly gets you so far, but then people think, oh, shoot, this person could win a jury. I also don't, I was so excited about my mini, but maybe telling everyone and getting everyone so excited and involved and then having me win and everything maybe maybe, because I do remember now it's clicking more. Francisco said something to me the other day and he watched that whole thing. So I feel like maybe that didn't help my threat level too much.
It happens. Sometimes you got to go into a game and be like Nicole Franzel and just be like, do you think people are upset that I'm a winner and I exist? Sometimes you got to go into it like that. I don't know. But
yeah.
But I mean, speaking of Francisco and two other people, I think maybe it's time to watch some goodbye messages.
I know for sure he's one of them. So yeah, let me see it.
Well, like I said, only 3 people submitted their goodbye messages before their deadline of tomorrow. So you will get eventually all of your goodbye messages. But tonight, all we have is Malcolm, Francisco, and Patrick to show you. But we will play them.
Trifecta. Nauseating. I hope I don't vomit.
That would make for a good eviction interview if you did. I haven't had a person vomit yet. So
all right, let's see it.
Jessica, I'm big mad that you got evicted tonight. This was not the plan. It was supposed to be Duncan, clean cut and simple. But as we have learned, people have different agendas. This is not what I wanted. You were someone I really wanted to work with, get to know, continue getting to know, and wanting to really work with you and Patrick as close as possible with the Beetleborgs. Just know that I'm on a revenge tour, and this shit is not going to continue being tolerated. Because
I like his sweater.
People have seen us as non-factors and no one to worry about throughout the game. I've had it. I'm done with the shit. I'm out there, and at bare minimum, I'm going to make sure Johnny's ass is in jury with you. He's not going to win this game because he had his hands all over this. I'm going out there. Wish me some luck. But I really enjoyed playing the game with you. You were so much fun, and I hope you're proud of the game that you achieved, because if they had to do all that and backdoor you, that means that you're such a good player and truly a queen of the season. Hope to see you soon. And congrats on jury.
Don't hope to see me too soon.
Hey, Jess, it really sucks having to make this video. Hindsight
you
is
should have it for
20/20,
me.
and I'll own my part in
I'm
this.
so sad.
I wish we had more time to talk and like connect and talk about the game and figure out where each other's heads was at. Because I felt like I didn't know where I fell into your game. I just didn't know
from the
like where your
beginning.
head was at with me, and I felt like you were close with other people. And that's fine. I just felt like I sort of had a better grasp on Duncan's game, and then when tonight went sort of haywire and all over the place, I made a game move, and I hope you know that it was nothing but a
I'm
game
not
move.
actually mad at him, but he's like being
Ancient
so
aside,
dramatic.
I think you're one of the coolest queens I've gotten to meet in the org. Super down to earth and just like such a good time. And yeah, I hope that once this is all said and done, I don't even care if it's like me and the jury next, or if I wind up in the jury, if I make it to the final. I hope we can clear the air and talk, get things out in the open, because I'm so wholeheartedly sorry that it all boiled down like this. And yeah, I just wish we had more time to talk and cross-reference and chat more about the game. So I just felt like I could maybe feel more comfortable with you. But that's equally just as much my fault too. So I'm so sorry. And again, like, I hope we can connect after this and talk.
He's so dramatic. It's okay.
Times more that I'm sorry.
We're not best friends. It's okay.
Sorry. I'm so sorry.
Don't cry. It's okay.
Happy holidays. I might be seeing you sooner than later. But
I hope.
Yeah, again, sorry.
Oh, here it is.
No, this is the worst. The nice thing about doing goodbye messages after you've gone is that, like, I know more and I can tell you more. Because if I'd done this prior, I would have been like, well, I know you're staying, which clearly did not happen. So all you need to know is fuck Johnny, fuck Francisco. I'm coming for their heads. And I will get revenge for this. And I can't wait to see you again soon.
All right, thoughts?
So I wish I had Rue's goodbye message, because if Malcolm and Patrick are telling the truth, those were really the only people I cared. Like, I don't blame Francisco. I probably would have done the same thing, to be honest. Like, that's fine. I think, like, it makes sense. He was in 2 alliances with Duncan from the beginning. So that's fine. I think, like last night I was just mainly upset because I feel like there's definitely, everybody's trying, sure. But there's definitely a hierarchy of those that show up and those that don't. So, that's a little hard to swallow, but I totally understand Francisco's side. I don't blame him. But yeah, I kind of knew. I think I figured it out. So Johnny is
you
sneaky.
You at least got 2 people who were pretty upset that you were gone. So at least you get some positives out of the goodbye.
You don't reveal the vote counts, so they could act upset.
Sorry. Eventually, maybe.
Oh yeah, I do have a question about that. So after the season, are you gonna post like actually like the vote counts? So we
will. I feel like we need to have some dramatic reveal for each week, because I don't know. I feel like this is such a big secret that we just haven't done. So I feel like it needs to be as dramatic as possible when we finally do say it, since we make such a big deal about not saying it during the season. But yeah, I do have some other questions. Of course, at the time that we've been doing this, I've been getting more questions from production members to ask you. But our good friend Alex Crooks wants to know, who is just distraught that after last night, I will just say that. What was your favorite moment throughout the entire season?
I would say like a funny moment was one time when we were playing, I think, Jackbox, and Gigi said she was fine to play, and then like 2 minutes into it, she was like, I gotta go. And it was it was fine. Like, she can go. But the fact that Patrick wouldn't let it go, and throughout the rest of the game, he kept saying, "Oh, guys, remember when Gigi was here? Remember?" And like, I knew he was drunk, and it was just really funny. But that was like the funniest moment. But definitely winning HOH was like my favorite moment, just because I've never been, whenever I apply to games, I always say like, I kill it socially, but I'm not great at comps. So even though it was very luck based on my part, one thing I will amend that though is I acted like it was all luck, but I was paying attention in the chats. So the questions you would ask about the chats, I did actually know those. So like, it was just really fun for me to like win a comp, because that doesn't always happen for me.
You said that Johnny is your winner pick as of right now. Does that mean you you also wouldn't want to see him next in jury if he was the next one to show
no,
up?
I would love to see him next, but I think he's set up to win.
Okay.
I think that he is well connected, but not in your face. I think he's throwing comps. He'll turn it on just like Rue. Amazing how well he did, on that veto when he's sucked at all the comps so far. But yeah, so I think he's in the best position to win, but I would be so happy to see him on Friday. I'd welcome him.
That's true. There's not a lot of downtime in the jury house with you alone right now. You're gonna have a whole new person tomorrow.
Yeah, that's why I was like, I want to do this before like I have them come in and taint my opinions. But yeah, I think he's set up, or Lana. I think they're both set pretty well.
Okay.
But yeah.
Who would you say you'd want to win as opposed to just having a winner pick? Who, if you could have one person win this game who you'd love to see as the winner, who would you pick right now?
I do think they've underestimated Malcolm a little bit, and they've underestimated Gigi. I think that'd be cool. But obviously, if Patrick didn't lie, I hope he wins. But if he really didn't know and he was just as blindsided as me, I see no way where he is getting there.
You think if Patrick didn't lie to you, he's just on his own island right now?
He's a good player. And there's obviously a reason I was nominated and not him. So I think maybe he'll have a path, but I think it's going to be hard. And we had both talked during this game that we tend to play with a partner of the opposite sex. So if he loses that, he might have a hard time. He likes to have someone to complain to.
Brett just brought this up in the production chat, but it's something I definitely should have asked. This women's alliance thing was just a complete weird thing that was happening since like the first night. But Brett wanted to ask, why did you hype up the women's alliance to Lana when you both knew the women's alliance was never really a thing?
Okay, I will say, because she did that. So this was really what I was doing on Monday, was I was just trying to use her own words against her, because I was added to that chat, and I even have a diary room where I say, Lana said on camera, I'm never going to nominate any of you women. And I remember specifically saying, oh, yeah, like smiling, and I said in my diary room, I didn't reply in the affirmative because I knew I didn't mean that. So I was just really, to me, what I was doing was, you want to say you're upfront. You want to say you're honest. You're not, you're not sneaky. Well, then this is what you said on Thursday night, like not that many days ago. And now you want to use me as a pawn. So like, yeah, I mean, but at the same time, if I had won, I don't know that I would have necessarily nominated her or Gigi. Like, I wasn't really, I wasn't loyal to them, but I don't think I would have nominated them. I would have only nominated Lana against Johnny, but I don't think she would have been my target.
Let's revert back to a mindset before you were evicted. Yes. So say you survive the instant last night. Say, it's Duncan that goes. You have no idea what the vote count was. You feel like, okay, I'm fine. It's all good. You win HOH in the fast forward tomorrow. Who are you nominating? Who's your target?
Johnny and Lana, and then Johnny's my target. I would just put Lana up, and I would tell her she was the pawn, just like she did to me.
Okay. That's all I need to know.
But I mean, yeah, that would have been what I did.
All right. That's about all the questions that I have. I'm gonna bring in we have a straggler in the backstage over here. His name's Alex, and
Hi.
he wanted to join. But I really wanted to ask you as we kind of wrap all of this up, and then Alex can say whatever he wants to. Is kind of just in summation, how was this game for you? You were in here for about the length of a normal Survivor org, and it was only halfway through this game. So, kind of, how did you feel about this game in whole? Would you ever recommend this game to a friend if they're a psychopath? And just kind of wrap it up for us, tie a bow on it all.
I would say I really enjoyed it. It being my first Skype experience, I was definitely apprehensive if I would be able to lie on camera, and I think we can all say I did that pretty well. So I mean, I was happy about it. I think the biggest hindrance for me personally was my time zone. I know that it's nice that it wasn't so late for me, but being that I had a child, it was like I'm eating dinner while they're just hanging out for hours. So I think if I could, I would have gone back and kind of planned better for that. I just didn't really know, how it would all work out. But I definitely would recommend it. It's super fun. I think, the comps were really fun. And I loved the aspect of having a whole week because it definitely changed, the way I played. I think 1 week in particular, I was so scared to be the renom that I worked my whole week around that. So it definitely was different. But yeah, I would recommend it. I loved it. It was fun to have my first Skype experience and, try it out. It was fun.
I would say you did very well.
Thank you.
And I think I speak for production when we say we all enjoyed having you so much. And you're very in-depth. And I think my favorite thing about you is that your diary rooms were always we knew exactly
very long.
Well, that's good. I prefer that because then I could just listen to them podcasts whenever I'm just doing something. And so, yeah, I always appreciate because not everyone can sit there and just say exactly what they're thinking and all the times that we can kind of map out where their mindset's at. But with you, it was never a question, which is so
yeah.
wonderful.
When we had that leaked confessional, I thought to myself,
what are you talking about?
I'm like, holy crap. His is only 2 minutes. I'm like, look how long I'm making these. And sometimes I was like, oh, wow, this is long. I got to stop talking. Because I would just talk in circles. Because a lot of times it was that was the one thing I will say about this season I think is really dope is everyone's a good player. With the exception of possibly our first boot who just maybe didn't understand how much we were going to talk. I think everyone across the board was a great player. And that's why it was really hard who to nominate, because everybody we don't have a lot of those sleeper players. I think all of us left not me, but all of them left are very good. So yeah, I think that was the coolest part is that I think I normally compete with those people that are kind of dragged on or, aren't there. And so that was really cool. Everybody's kind of fighting to be here.
Alex, you got anything?
You're awesome.
Aw, thank you.
That's the main thing I have to say. When I asked you to play and you said I was from the second I even asked you, I was in the production chat being okay, guys, I got this amazing person.
Aww.
You all are gonna love her. And maybe a little apprehension at first, but they all came around. We all love you. And you will see that in our round tables that we do and all that. You were great. You exceeded everyone's expectation except for mine because I knew exactly how you were because you're awesome. But yeah, I'm very sad that you were gone, I will say. But
I already told her. She knows.
I'm very sad that you are out. But you were great from start to finish. I just wanted to let you personally know that. Like, you're awesome. Like,
Aw, thank you.
I would be very scared to play a game with you. We've not done that yet, but I would be very scared. So,
We did. I voted your dog out.
You
We played
monster.
an Alias game, and we
We
played
did.
as pets. And I voted his dog out while he was hosting me in a
How
game.
could you?
And I was thinking to myself the whole time, I'm like, I hope like when I go back to like just the host game, like I hope he's not like, mad.
Oh no, for
And
that
then-
specific game, I was just having fun with it.
Oh
feel
yeah,
like
I
people-
didn't understand why people were so serious about it. I was just being a bratty chihuahua. I didn't know.
Barrett, I typed in all caps and like only discussed about how I hated naps.
Oh,
And then they voted me out. Like, I didn't
Yeah.
do
you can't just hate naps, Alex. You crazy?
it. Hey, I didn't. It was my dog.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, but yeah.
What are we
No, I-
doing? Okay, I gotta wrap this up.
Yeah.
We can talk once we stop recording. But Jessica, thank you again.
Thank
Never
you.
discount yourself. You say this whole cast is full of great players, but you were definitely one of those great players. And so don't sit here and say that you're not, because you are. And that, like Malcolm said, there's a reason that they had to backdoor you and get you out, because you are a great player.
Yeah,
So-
that is actually like, I think that's what made me feel better today, is that I do not think this was by accident. And that kind of makes me feel at least a little, like, wow, okay, you're scared of me. Cool.
They could only let you think for 10 minutes.
Yeah, wow.
But Jessica, thank you again for playing
Thank
Padlock Season 2.
you.
We all enjoyed you, and we're going to enjoy you even more in this jury chat, where you will have someone
Ooh,
join you in about
know it.
27-ish hours or
I'm a
so.
spicy jury member. I can't wait to welcome them all.
All right. I'm going to end this recording now.
Okay, bye, guys.